Every now and then, I long for the times before we had Steam, when we still had to actually go to a physical store location to check out the new gaming releases. Seeing all the games right in front of you and having to decide which one is the one you're gonna get, just by looking at the couple screenshots on the back of the box, was always a gamble. But it was a fun gamble. And since it was a gamble, sometimes you lost too. Like one time when I was a kid, I had like $5 to go and buy candy. So when I went to the store, I walked past the gaming section, and there was one game there that also cost $5, and the game was called Football Manager. Now, I didn't know what manager meant, but I knew what football meant, and I loved football games. So of course I got the new game, and when I went back home and booted the game up...
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Then again, things really haven't changed that much, since today when you buy a new game, sure the reasons are different, but you still feel the same way when you boot them up.
What the fuck?
So once more I wanted to feel that excitement of scavenging through gaming stores, trying to find that one game you can afford. So for this video I went ahead and tried to find the cheapest video game I could find in Tokyo. The great thing about Japan, and well, Tokyo specifically, is that it is so big that you can quite literally find almost anything as long as you search long enough. And Tokyo being the gaming capital of the world, I should be able to find some hidden treasure somewhere around here. The bad thing though is that the summers are ridiculously hot. So going outside gets tough for a Scandinavian hikikomori like myself. I started going through the stores, seeing what kind of stuff I could find, and it is honestly amazing how you can basically find any game you'd like. Though, sadly, the prices have gone up in the past 10 years, probably due to tourists visiting these formerly hidden stores much more often. For example, you used to be able to find the original Game Boy for $20, but now it's hard to find one under $50. In these stores, they have everything you always wanted as a kid. They even had that shitty Bubsy game. The best thing is that Japanese tend to take good care of their stuff, which is why you can very easily find 25-year-old games mint in the box for relatively cheap. But I was here looking for the absolutely cheapest game, so even though I could find Super Nintendo games for $4, which is pretty cheap, I knew I could still go cheaper. Some stores have these junk piles with items that might or might not work for super cheap, but finding something good from those is pure luck. The store aisles were small and full of people, so this ended up being a much harder task than I had imagined. I still had one place in my mind that I should check out, Trader. This was the store that I had high hopes for, simply because 10 years ago I remember finding Game Boy games that cost next to nothing in this store. Since I had not visited this place in a decade, I couldn't know if they'd still have them after such a long time, but it was worth a look. This store was definitely the best one I had seen so far, and after fantasizing about how my life would be with the GameCube, I checked the junk pile, but they only had consoles on sale today and no games in sight. Then I noticed these dirty Super Nintendo games at the bottom shelf, and these were exactly what I was looking for. Donkey Kong Country and other games for 100 yen, and the absolutely lowest price for a game I have ever seen, 50 yen for these two games. I had never heard about either of these games, so I decided to go for the Prime Football game, because as mentioned earlier in the video, I like football games. So here is the game. By the way, I do have an actual Super Nintendo. It is actually the only console I have with me right now. And I didn't go and look for just Super Nintendo games. This was actually the cheapest game I could find. So I guess we got lucky. Oh, and by the way, the store clerk told me that this is junk, which means that I cannot return this, and this might actually not even work. But let's hope for the best, and let's try it out. Whoa! Now, this game is actually surprisingly fun. I mean, sure, this is no Baldur's Gate 3, but for what it is, it's not bad. Now, this is basically the most simple football game you can have. You choose from these Japanese league teams for yourself and computer, or if you have friends, you can play with friends, but we know I don't have any friends. Like, everything is super simple, easy kickoff. And then you just kind of have a couple of buttons to pass the ball on and kick pretty much. You can of course slide and like try to kill the other people like here. But
Criminal scum.
Now this is very arcadey feel, which I like. I've always loved these old arcade games. I mean, I don't know if this was actually an arcade, but this feels like it was. Oh, there we go. Oh, damn. The problem I keep having with this game is that I try to play this like a modern football game, and I just can't do that. Like, for example, I have to have the ball actually before I can do any inputs. Like in modern games, like when you pass, you can immediately press the kick button, and when your player gets the ball, they'll kick it. But in here, you need to actually have the ball, and then you can kick. So I keep missing my goal chances because I kind of input too early. Come on, bro. Here we go. Damn. The fact that this game from the junk pile actually works is pretty crazy to me. And the fact that I was able to find this for 50 yen honestly proves that Japan is most definitely the retro gamer's paradise. There we go. Oh, now this is the beautiful gameplay. This is Messi, 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 goal, 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 goal. Oh yeah, by the way, tell me in the comments what would be the game you would like to find, and I'll read them after I'm done with this game. Now to continue.